What do you think, Alan? I mean, Everton, though, on the other hand, like I said earlier, 1 step forward, 2 steps back. It looks like the Frank Lampard side in his last match rather than the one that faced faced Arsenal on under Sean Dyche.
Well, I think the confidence that Everton would have got from the Arsenal game didn't spill over into this game, because I think Everton from the first whistle, they tried to stay in the game, and I think if they would have really put more pressure on the Liverpool backline, I think there might have been something in the game for them, but they never ever, I think at all during the game,
they never got
really
going.
threatened. No, they didn't. I think Everton started to play the ball and have a bit more confidence when they were 2-0 down, and on 17 minutes, which the game's gone then. You know, it was all too late, and I didn't ever think from the first whistle Everton really had the chance of winning the game today.
Why do you think that is? Why couldn't they transfer the confidence over from the Arsenal win?
Well, we've seen a stat before, and Everton are 20th for goals scored, the 19th for shots on target, and 18th for chances created. And when you look at them stats, that's quite a damning stats to have your team. And when you need goals to win games, then you realise why Everton are in this predicament that they're in.
So if Dominic Calvert-Lewin was here today in the starting 11, you don't think that would have made any difference at all?
I don't. To be honest, I think he would have done better than Ellis Sims. It was a tough day or tough night for Ellis Sims, and I felt sorry for him because the service to him wasn't great. And so that means it wouldn't have been necessarily any different with Calvert-Lewin there. And it all comes back to early on, you know, in Everton's transfer window, how they never signed any attacking players. It baffles me, to be honest, in terms of why, and that's why there's been a lot of questions at the board for not strengthening the squad. You know, and it comes back to that.
So find it so ironic that Bill Kenwright is here today.
Well, yeah, I do and all, because, you know, he doesn't go to home games, but he finds it okay to come to away games.
Yeah.
You know, the questions that will still be there that have been asked against the board, they won't go away. And Everton are in a relegation battle, there's no doubt about that.
If Everton goes down, JMO, how much do you think they'll be looking at that January transfer window, not getting an attacker in, and how much more will they look at the board, the owners, and what's been going on essentially at Everton for I don't know how many years now?
Yeah, I mean, to say that this transfer window was the problem, when arguably this problem was here before the last transfer window before that.
It's years coming.
Yeah. I mean, you know, Frank was involved in a relegation battle at the end of last season, scraped by the skin of his teeth, or escaped by the skin of his teeth, and then the investment. I mean, I was talking to Stubbs here during that second half that those transfers that were made in the summer didn't look like the sort of players that Frank would want. They look more like Sean Dyche. It wasn't a plan to get Sean Dyche in, but it was more like a fighting team than it was a creative team. What I found interesting today, especially in that second half, Iwobi was probably a standout player for Everton.
Yeah.
He was creative. Damari Gray comes on, he's creative. Damari Gray's a player that I've been on the show before and talks about how good he is. Yeah. And they're not given the chance, and you just wonder where the methodology is. So not this transfer window. This was a problem from last season, which has continued over. And you said years. Stubbs, you will probably agree with you that this isn't. It's nothing new. This is Everton through and through. They got a fantastic new stadium being built 2 miles down the road. Well, they're going to be playing Championship football in that unless they sort this out rapidly. And from what I've seen tonight, I can't see where it's going to happen.
Just how deep-rooted is the problem?
It's very deep-rooted because I think the big problem that Sean Dyche has got to weigh up is that in terms of how much he leans towards being hard to beat and how much he leans towards winning games of football, and he's got to get that balance right. The problems are deep-rooted. It goes back to the owner who's been here for 7 years, and the transfers that have been brought in have been really poor. You know, we, believe it or not, we've spent over 500 million, and this team is worse now than what it was before they spent a penny.